On today's Domain Sherpa discussion, did the new GTLDs .fail this week? What can we learn from competing TLDs like .photos, .photo, and .pics? Visa Checkout drops v.me for a longer .com. An insider look at Google's new registrar service. Amazon enters the domain space. DomainIQ.com, a new competitor to Domain Tools, launches in private beta. We take a sneak peek. Porn.com is stolen. How can this happen in today's day and age? And much more. Stay tuned. I have 3 sponsor messages before we get into today's show. First, if you have a great domain name and nothing to show when people visit, you're missing out on potential advertising revenue, leads, and partnership opportunities. NicheWebsites.com can build you a site quickly with a price option to suit any need. But as their tagline says, they don't just build websites, they build businesses. NicheWebsites.com. Second, if you're buying or selling a domain name or portfolio and you want an estimate of its value, Estabot.com is the place to go. Just like you'd visit Zillow.com to get an estimate of a house value, Estabot.com provides key information about the most important statistics so you can make an informed decision based on data. Finally, whether you're buying, selling, brokering, or financing a domain name, you need an escrow company that's properly licensed, bonded, insured, and audited. That company is Escrow.com, and they've been doing it since 1999. Escrow.com. It's about trust. Hey everyone, my name is Michael Cyger. I'm the publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Discussion. Do you want to know what's going on in the industry this week from an insider's perspective? This is the show to watch because we're joined by 4 industry veterans that do this full-time, know everyone in the industry, and got their fingers on the pulse of what's going on. From left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of DNForum.com and NicheWebsites.com, the company that'll help you build, rank, and update your business website. Next up, Michael Berkens, publisher of TheDomains.com, co-founder of the Right of the Dot consultancy, and founder of the domain marketplace MostWantedDomains.com. Next up, Paige Howe, founder and president of the domain marketplace DomainOutlet.com and founder of the DomainTipsheet.com service, where you can find hand-selected domain names at registration fee pricing. Some good deals there. And Rick Schwartz, the Domain King, publisher of ricksblog.com and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Industry Conference. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's show.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I missed you guys last week. It was, going 2 weeks without seeing all you guys. I think it's just too long.
It's way too long.
We get technical difficulties creeping up on us here. You might hear a little bit of an echo. Adam thinks it's me. I think it's him.
Were we off last week?
We were off last week. You thought we were on?
Did like one of our better shows last week.
I think we got the most retweets last week.
If you missed that show last week, you really screwed up, guys.
It's on Domain Sherpa Review, the garage tapes.
Exactly. We should just do it, where we don't tape and then just run it on one of our sites. You can just see us hanging out. All right, first up, let's chat about the new top-level domains that are available for registration fee. I don't like to get into all this, like, pay early and pay more, and let's talk about reg fee domains. This week, they include .reis. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a German word for journey.
It's not rice, for sure.
What is it? R-E-I-S-E.
It's R-E-I-S-E-N, and it means to travel in German.
Are you sure? I thought
I'm positive. I spoke to a German person.
You spoke to a German person.
Wie geht's? I had a Der Wiener Schnitzel hot dog today.
Do they still exist?
Somebody cue the Oktoberfest music.
Hey, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Does that count?
No, but I am going to ICANN in October, and I'm staying at a Holiday Inn Express, so we'll see if I get any smarter. Okay, so it's Ryson, maybe. In English, we have .fail, .limited, .financial, .wtf, like what the frick, and .rocks and .actor. So, Paige Howe, I want to hear from you, buddy. You're the king of reg fee. What did you buy?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. Just didn't even have it on my agenda. Does donuts even exist anymore?
Are you still a domain name investor? How could you
Are they
not be
even
investing
in
in
the
these?
business of promoting new TLDs? You know, whatever. If there was only a word that would capture my feeling of whatever. There was 3 letters. I don't know what that would be. Just whatever.
So how many domain names do you have in your portfolio today, Paige?
About 22,000.
22,000. You're looking for opportunities every single day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new TLDs went into general availability today, and none of them interested you enough to even block off some time in your calendar and register some of them.
Well, I mean, after a while, do we even remember the .guru launch now? When it was the first one, and what's going to happen, and oh my gosh, and then we ranked them all on a scale of 1 to 10, and there were some good ones a couple weeks ago. .media, and I thought those were good. And then I found myself going, hey, listen, if the registry doesn't care about them, and the registrars are going to sell whatever comes out this week, and they're not going to care about what's out next week, then yeah, at some point in time, I'll probably go through maybe .financial and try to pick some great ones. But I'm still buying in the ones, the shared TLDs I like. I'm still buying in .tv, and I'm still buying in .la. So I'll take those 2 over what came out this week.
All right, fair enough. Let's go left. Mike Berkens. I know you registered some today, didn't you?
I registered a few WTFs. Just for the hell of it.
Did you get pagehow.wtf?
It didn't come to mind for some reason. I don't know why. Just no, didn't. I got Domain King though. I mean, Domain King.
What? That's a trademark. Get it,
Oh,
Rick.
it's a trademark? Oh,
Isn't that a trademark? Don't you literally have a trademark for it, Rick?
I do.
Mike, you should be quaking in your boots. Somebody's about to take over most wanted domains.
I registered them all for Rick.
Oh, okay. You're going to give it to him.
Oh, I would give it to him for sure.
No.
Don't you worry.
So what extension did you register Domain King in? WTF or?
I didn't register Domain King in any extension.
Oh, okay. All right. What'd you get?
I just got a few. I got I got in the WTF things like social media, WTF, a couple of those sort of trendy type of topics, but not a whole lot. I didn't really like the extensions. The financials, okay, but there's so many similar extensions that are out or coming out, and I just couldn't get my head around the investment quality of it or any of the ones that came out this week. So extremely light for me, almost nothing, just a couple to play with, just
Gotcha.
because.
All right.
So nothing I would recommend people go out and spend a fortune registering.
All right. Adam, you mentioned earlier that you had somebody that speaks German that you were talking to. Did you register some Ryzen?
So, no, I didn't, but this isn't the only video show I do, mister, so I do get to come in contact with other people. No, all they did was tell me what Ryzen meant, and I knew from that. I did register MikeCyger.rocks. No, I didn't, but that's the way people are going to register them, like Rick Rocks, Page Rocks, but it's good branding for companies, believe it or not, so it could be like DN Forum Rocks. I mean, it's branding, Walmart Rocks, whatever it is. But I'm not a huge believer in that, although a lot of people are registering those types of domain names.
Yeah.
I think actor is pretty good if you're an up-and-coming actor. If you want to be like one of the new ones, I think it's good. I'm under a bark alert. Hey,
Yeah, you are.
sit down. And the other one that I think those are the two best. Financial's good too because there's lots of companies that end in financial. It's easy to resell those.
Yeah.
So financial would be my best of the bunch as far as resale value
Really?
goes.
But it's so long.
I don't care if you're Manulife Financial or you're whatever you are. That's your company. You want it.
But then it's a
Yeah,
trademark.
but then you have a common law trademark or a regular trademark.
Okay, I'm not suggesting people go out and register trademarks. I'm just saying you've got a better chance of selling generic ones like that if you have them. Not going out and register the actual company names like Walmart Financial, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
But it could be like Adam. It could be anything. It could be like a last name. Could be anything. But yeah, you have common law stuff. But it's the best one with resale value out of the group, and I would never register a WTF. I don't know what people are thinking.
Well, let me ask all you guys about defensive registrations. You know, I've got a number of trademarks and operating businesses like DomainSherpa. Adam, you've got DN Forum. Mike, we've all got domains. I can go down the line. Are you buying .wtf or .fail with your trademarks and major offerings?
Absolutely not.
So I can go get dnforum.fail.
You can, and you may get a letter eventually, but you can.
You don't want to spend the $40 per year just to prevent some person from...
I could get dnforum.sucks, but I mean, we could do this forever ad nauseum with new ones that are going to come out. And how much money are we going to spend when the whole purpose of protecting your trademark is registering in the first place? So once it's registered, I think you have enough protection.
Yeah.
.sucks is like $25,000 though. It's not $40, is it?
Yeah. So how much are you going to spend on that?
Well, I'm not going to spend $40,000, but what about most wanted domains.wtf?
No, I didn't do any of those. I mean, there's a few, you know. I mean, I definitely did a few defensive, like, you know, trademarks and things that are, you know, I think bang on. So, like, you know, most wanted domains and things like that. But you can't. I mean, for me, it's not a play that to go out and do, you know, 1,000 different extensions on. Even any company, I just don't see it.
All right. Is it just me, or does everybody else on the panel think that Mike is the one that's echoing?
I do, yes.
Are you
Because
sure
you
your
accused me
headphones
of such a
plugged in,
heinous
Mike?
crime.
I'll shut.
So, Mike, the other thing is, if everyone starts doing that now, when is it going to stop? You're just going to allow new TLD guys to say, gee, .wtf got 1,500 names from brandable guys. Let's come up with whatever, just some other synonym for it. But if no one wants it, what are you protecting yourself? So it's like being worried someone's going to be wearing the same dress as you are or something, but they're wearing it in a place where there's nobody. So it's like, who cares? Just because a registry comes out doesn't mean it's relevant.
Yeah,
Hey,
I hate showing up in the same color dress as another person.
I know, seriously. So, funny story. My mom and my wife's mom showed up at our wedding wearing the same pattern, different styles of dress. That's slightly embarrassing, no?
How does that relate to this story about domains?
Rick, you have...
Hold on, did you look at them both and say WTF or what?
WTF. Rick, you have until tomorrow morning from the time we're taping this till the time it airs to register targetedtraffic.fail. Are you going to do it?
No.
Targeted traffic is never going to fail.
Because you feel the same way as the rest of the panel, that you can't buy every single extension. If somebody wanted to buy targetedtrafficfail.com, they could go do it. If they wanted to buy...
You know what? If people are going to waste their time branding my brand for me, God bless them. I mean, that's what it is. They're branding my brand at the end of the day. If that's the way they spend their energy in their life, really? Come on.
Yeah.
I've been muted out, by the way. Just so you know.
I mean, on WTF, the only things that make sense are the brands. So other than that, where's the value?
And the brands aren't playing in the Sunrise brand protection game largely either. So I think. It hasn't panned out for those registries that went into business to sell a lot of defensive trademarks. Hasn't happened.
So just like any marketing 101 class, right? Everything's bought on fear and greed. So what if the new TLDs don't have either one? They can't sell on fear. Oh my gosh, you better go get this because you've got to protect your trademark over 1,000 TLDs. And then what if they lose greed? Then it's going to come back to, are they really valuable? and we'll have to see.
I think we're going to look back at this period and say, did we all take our eye off the ball? Because, we spend almost 100% of the show now talking about GTLDs, which most of the audience really doesn't care about. So maybe we can hear on the comments section this week, how many people how much of the show do you want us to spend on GTLDs? Maybe we shouldn't be, devoting this much time to them. I don't know the answer. Maybe we should, but I'd like to know what they think.
Fair enough. Let's ask the audience. Post in the comment below what percentage of the show you want to be about GTLDs. And to be fair, every show we have about, 6 to 10 topics, and I think only the first 2 or 3 topics are about GTLDs. It may be percentage-wise, we're coming up on 15 minutes talking about this one topic, but it's slightly related to defensive registrations as well. So, all right, but voice your opinion in the show below. All right, I have one more topic about GTLDs, and it relates to it's about GTLDs. Michael Berkens ran a post on thedomains.com on July 23rd comparing 4 similar top-level domains, .pics, .pictures, .photo, and .photos. As of today, the leader is .photos with 13,367 registrations. .photo has 8,920 registrations. .pics has 4,654 registrations, and .pictures has 2,097 registrations. A commenter posted, hey, you forgot about photography, Mike. It's got 42,000 registrations. Okay, so photography is, but really what you were doing, Mike, I think is comparing those similar domains, photos, photo, pics, and pictures. What can we learn from these 4 top-level domains coming out roughly at the same time with roughly the same purpose?
I mean, so let me just start. So in the post I wrote, I did specifically chat about photography, and then I exempted it out because I thought of that to be more of a profession than the other 4. So it's not like I disregarded it. I just thought it was different. So right. I still think it's different. So I think what we can learn is that there's a huge first mover advantage, number 1, for sure. If you look at the numbers, and then like you just repeated the numbers for each extension, really you should talk about when those extensions went live in relation to the numbers. Mm-hmm. And I think they've been on a declining basis since they went live. So I think first mover advantage is really important. Second, I think price is less important. So as long as you're within the range of reasonability. So I'm not sure if it really matters if you're at $20 or $30 or $40 mm-hmm. in that sort of realm. I mean, if you're at $2,500 for that rich, that's a different realm, right? But so in that realm, I'm not sure it really makes that much of a difference. And then I guess to some extent that if you really wanted to pick one of the new GTLDs, like .photo, just whatever, Mike.photo, that was going to be the name of your website, your business, your internet presence for the next 20 years, then you have to start thinking about defensive registrations based on the new GTLDs with other GTLDs, I guess, right? If you had Mike Photo that was going to be your presence, you'd probably want the photos too. And you may want some of the other ones. So that's my story.
Yeah, makes sense. Anybody else have some thoughts on first mover advantage and which of these might be a better extension than others based on their similarity?
Well, I'm surprised that PICS wasn't the number 1 extension, being that it's the shortest. Number 1, it's the shortest extension. It's PICS has been around as a word, describing pictures on the internet for close to 20 years since the beginning. So I think that's the biggest surprise, that the shortest one that didn't do the best.
I'm sorry, Rick, you said that. Hey, Adam, can you mute just for a second? Rick, you said that the shortest one, what?
The shortest extension, .pics, mm-hmm. over .photo, .photos, the other ones, was the shortest one, and it didn't do the best. Mm-mm. And it's been the saying that's been around the internet the longest. Right. If people refer to pics, not photos on the internet, it's pics.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest surprise that the people should look at is why, and ask the question: why didn't .pics do more than the other ones?
Right.
I think the answer is fairly obvious. Pics is an old term from people like me and you and I that just got on the internet. With the advent of digital cameras, it's all about photos. So that would be why photos did better, because the newer generations talk about pictures and photos. And photos is smaller than pictures. They don't talk about pics. They talk about photos.
Yeah.
I think you could go. I don't think you know which one's best. So people are like, I want to buy which one's best. You guys tell me which one's best so I can go buy it. You bet your money and you take your chances. You know, I think photos and photography and pictures are going to have better stats. So if you're like, I don't really know what I like, I just look at the search engine numbers, you're going to gravitate toward those. And if you're like, I care how it sounds, then I think Rick's point, pics, short, sweet, maybe more brandable or something like that. But I don't think there's a way to say which one's best, I want to buy that. You have to decide where you're going to, you know, take your money out of your pocket and put it in one of these names to see if it grows faster than the way, you know, just keeping your money on the sideline. But I tell you, if one of them would have built some identity, would have sponsored 10 or 20 sites to get them out there, would have some name recognition, would have some founder, would have something besides the registrars, or now that the registries are sitting back and saying, well, we're waiting for our registrants to use them, and then in 3 to 5 years, the next generation of people won't even remember .com. You know, I just don't see that being a great growth model.
I think Rick is rubbing off on you because you two are right next to each other on the screen. All right, so shorter is not necessarily better, which brings us to our next topic. Michael Berkens, again, over at The Domains, covered another interesting story just yesterday. He wrote, quote, Visa International has decided to rebrand its new digital wallet product from V.me, as in V as in Visa, a 3-letter domain name, V.me, to VisaCheckout.com, stating that the name change is going to help the company a great deal in helping to explain what the solution is about. It was just last November 2013 that Visa bought V.me, or actually just announced V.me. They had bought it, I think, about a year before that. And it was considered to be a big boost for the .me registry. So why is this interesting? Why do I bring it up today? Because just as the retailer Overstock bought O.co and rebranded that it's going to be this short and great domain name, only to take a step back and continue to use Overstock.com, Visa appears to have done the exact same thing with V.me, going back to their full brand and a .com domain name. So Rick, let me start with you. Most domain name investors will agree that, in general, shorter domain names are more valuable than longer ones. But just like we talked about in the previous topic, is it possible for a domain name to be so short that it loses its marketing and branding purpose and becomes detrimental?
Yeah, well, you lose your brand. I mean, everyone runs around with their initials, and as they're doing their initials, they lose their brand. So, and I don't necessarily believe that shorter is better. Let's start there. It's a good start, but memorability is more important than all of that. And when you see Visa pulling the plug on something like that, you know that they lost a lot of traffic and a lot of money, and they were able to track it, and they did focus groups, and when they put 100 people in the room and they gave them the little exercise, 90 of them screwed it up. And that's the problem. And that's the problem with all the GTLDs, that they all got to climb this same mountain, okay? And look, Visa has deeper pockets than most of the people. They're always talking about the startups. Mm-hmm. The startups can't afford to screw up. I'm sorry. They're going to go out of business from being so cute. And that's what happens. Look at Visa. Okay, look at them. There's the proof. They went back to a .com. How many words? What was the .com they went to?
VisaCheckout.com.
Checkout.
Actually, they didn't though. They went to a subdomain. Actually, if you type in either v.me or the VisaCheckout.com, you wind up going to a subdomain off of Visa. So they were actually using neither one.
Checkout.visa.com. They're using a third-level domain name.
What are they advertising? The only thing that counts, is what are they putting on TV? What are they putting in the magazines? What are they putting on billboards and radios? None of the other crap really matters.
Well, the logo on that, if you type v.me, it redirects to checkout.visa.com, and they use Visa Checkout. That's the brand. That's the logo. That's the text they use on the page.
Well,
Visa
you know
Checkout.
what? They've done a very good job of confusion because now they got three names going to the same place. You know, it's confusing. Like I said, they do focus groups. They put 100 people in a room, and most of them get it wrong. And what do they do? What are the proponents of V.me or whatever other cute thing that they do in branding and marketing? What do they do when they see the 90% of the people getting it wrong? They can't just, eventually you just got to kind of go back to basics. There is look, just like how many years ago was the metric system supposed to come to the USA? Remember that? Okay, we were supposed to go on the metric system. Guess what? Didn't happen. It can't happen. The people weren't receptive to it, and it failed miserably. And boy, they spent a lot of money on that. They spent a long time doing it. It didn't work. It just didn't work. And this is the same needle and the same thread, and people keep wanting to poke it, wanting it to go through, and I think they just don't always see the normal guy on the street with his 8th grade education, me included, that we just remember certain things, and when people tell us, we just automatically get it wrong. It's just a knee-jerk reaction.
I think it's actually opposite. I think the startups seem to do much better and adapt much better to like .cos and some other domain extensions. And then when you talk about extremely well-known brands like your Visas, your Cokes, your Overstocks, I mean public companies, when they switch off, it's a different ballgame. But if you're going to start like a startup and you have so much money to start and you have a business model, it seems like a lot of them get a lot of press using LYs and MEs and TVs and all sorts of other COs, new GTLD or new extensions. I think they run into problems when it's a well-established brand.
Adam, what were you going to say?
What I was going to say was it's very clear that, let's look at Overstock for a second. O.com, stupid investment. First of all, O.co, it wasn't a comp, so that hurt them right off the bat. They incorporated in May of '99. So they spent 14 years building up their brand only to change it and walk away from it. And it's like Rick said, obviously 90 people got it wrong. At least the other 10 finally convinced them to go back to Overstock.com. You don't kill your brand after that's all you've been really building all those years. And I can't really understand why V.me would be so good, because it could be anything. It could be anything and nothing great on V.me. It's not very defining. It doesn't really tell, unless you're going to change every commercial you have and pound the media with V.me, it's not going to work. And they don't have them on the cards. They don't have them anywhere. So really, there's no point in something like that. And that type of rebranding doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I went to Google and I typed in a search Visa space checkout just to see what would happen. There's a paid ad on the top and the URL for Visa checkout. And the URL is www.checkout.visa.com. So you got the third level domain that they're wanting to go to. Some marketing person put that in and then added the www at the beginning because I guess they assume that some people won't figure out what that third level domain is. And then the number one organic result is checkout.visa.com. So it looks to me, and I also want to say you might be giving Visa a little bit too much credit that they've done all these, focus groups and everything, Rick. I've worked in corporate America at GE for over a decade and at Citigroup. And, while they do run a lot of those, they also have people changing positions and director of marketing online divisions every couple of years as people move. And
let's talk about the keyword rebranding for a minute, okay? And I think I can give a real-world domain example that'll surprise some people. So Elliot's blog, which is one of the most popular blogs in the space, rebranded to Domain Investing last year. Well, if you go to Alexa and you go and you look at his numbers, let me tell you, the rebranding did not work. He's at a lower point now than what he was when he rebranded in, I think, last November. And you can see a decline. And if you rebrand, you're doing it to make your audience bigger, not smaller. And if you look, I think even Domain Shane, same thing. His is a little bit more choppy, but if you look at the stats, it didn't do what they're really trying to do. When you rebrand and you tried, that's why when you have a brand and then you try to make it an acronym with 3 letters, it doesn't help you a lot of times. It isn't helping you. And I think if you look at it, especially Elliot's blog, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm reading Alexa wrong, but.
Well, I don't know. I've gone to, I went to a different service, and I typed in, and it looks like his traffic is doing nothing but going up, but I can't compare Elliot's blog to that one because it uses 2 different domain names, and it doesn't cross it, and they don't carry the Elliot's blog data anymore.
If you go to Alexa, you can see the point at where he made the switch, where it was the day where it was Elliot's blog, and then you can see the switch, the decline, and then, of course, eventually the rebound, but the rebound still hasn't gotten to the point where he was originally. And I look at that stuff. I look at that stuff all the time.
I think if you want to rebrand, one of the best ways to do it is what I did with DN Forum. I left DN Forum up. I bought DNF.com years later, and I just repointed DNF so people could go that way if they want to, but I didn't touch DN Forum.
Right.
And I think there's also a lot in the methodology of Alexa that's based upon, taking a small number of browsers and extrapolating, but because we don't have any other numbers, we treat those numbers like, oh my gosh, they could be, incredible. But I think it would take a while to change behavior on those Alexa browsers that are being measured potentially. And so, I mean, Alexa's, when I looked into the methodology, it was still something that I think was put on a lot of computers 9 and 10 years ago. I don't know how successful they've been on keeping that updated with new users and tablets and the whole thing.
To your point,
it's like all the other numbers on the internet, you can't rely on them.
You can't rely on. You have to look at trends. You can't rely on absolutes, of course. But I believe Alexa, in addition to their browser extensions and toolbars that they use, they also buy data from internet service providers to augment it. And Rick, it does look like their ranking is slightly lower on a domain investing than it was on Elliot's blog. I wonder, maybe Elliot, I'll ping him and ask him if he actually has less traffic today than he does at the heyday of Elliot's blog. Quick break from 3 sponsors of today's show. First, are you tired of being upsold and cross-sold when you buy or renew a domain? Then try the newest registrar being built from the ground up with a beautiful interface, competitive pricing, and 24/7 support. Uniregistry.com will surprise and delight you. The right domain can change your life. Uniregistry.com. Second, investing in Chinese domains is crazy hard without expert native language advice. Now, as a service to the Western domainer community, TLD Registry offers ChineseLandRush.com. Using ChineseLandRush.com will help you invest in Chinese domains with confidence and without knowing a word of Chinese. Finally, MediaOptions is a boutique domain brokerage firm that gets results. They've specialized in helping companies acquire and sell high-value domain names since 2005, with a client list ranging from funded startups to Fortune 500 corporations. Visit MediaOptions.com to learn more. So, all right, so we're saying going to a short letter like V or O, you lose your brand, you give up all that hard work that you've worked so many years to develop.
Well, I mean, I think it's, if you're Fortune 500, company like a Visa, or even a 5,000 company, I think it's different than being a startup.
Right.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Well,
I mean, if Google wants to change their name tomorrow to something, GD, they probably wouldn't be great for them. But.
All right. Can we all agree that discussion topic was not a new GTLD topic?
Well, kind of it was.
But wasn't that useful to talk about going to a shorter domain and
Hey,
maybe that's not the
how
best
many
thing?
minutes are we on GTLD?
36
40
minutes in.
I think V.me has some medical applications in the men's planning, men's health area. I think V.me would be more aptly used in that regard.
All right, I got to move on. I got to move
I
on. We spent too much time on this.
The CCTLD is definitely not new GTLD. So there you go.
All right, next up. A couple of weeks ago, we covered the Google announcement that they're entering a private beta of their new registrar service called Google Domains. Nobody on the Sherpa panel had seen it at that time. But since then, one of the Sherpas, at least one of them, has received a private invitation and has taken a preview. Oh, two of you. All right. Let's start with Adam. Adam, I know that you're one of those two. What do you think of the Google Domains registrar look so far? And is it a GoDaddy and Uniregistry killer?
My opinion is no. Listen, it could be, forget Uniregistry, forget GoDaddy. It could be a killer if they outdo everybody in marketing. I mean, I always refer to Microsoft Office isn't the best word processor, Microsoft Word, but because of the marketing, everybody knows about it much more than anything else. So if Google puts some marketing behind it, it's going to hurt everybody regardless. Now, that doesn't mean it's a better platform. You and I took a quick run through. I shared my screen with you. Mm-hmm. It's a very simple interface. It can't get any simpler than that. And it's basically transfer in or register new, and it's $12, and that's it. And click checkout, and away you go. Yeah. It does give you a few other options. If you pick a name that's taken, it gives you a couple to choose from. For now, as far as I know, it only does like the com.net.org stuff. I didn't see much GTLD stuff, and I tried a CA just as a test, and it wouldn't allow me to transfer them in. I didn't want to transfer them in. I just wanted to see if it took them. So I have no names there at the moment. I don't really plan on putting any names there. To me, it was not feature-rich. Yes, you get free subdomains. Yes, you get a lot of email accounts, and that's great. But for domainers, most of the domains we use don't need email accounts and don't need subdomains. Maybe a handful will. Mm-hmm. That's about it. So for me, it's no killer to anybody as of yet, and it's the best kept secret at the moment.
Mike Berkens, what did you think of Google Domains?
It's in beta. So we have to recognize that's not available to everybody at the moment. It's not really working. I assume the way it will work eventually. So as it sits, as you go there today, is there anything that would make you want to move all your names over there or go on a mad buying spree? No. There's nothing. No. So right now, as it sits, it's nothing much of anything. But on the other hand, again, I would say it's in beta. We don't know what it'll eventually look like, and they do have 70% market share of search. So I wouldn't dismiss it so quickly. Right now, it's much of nothing, but we'll see.
Did you register any?
That's it. It's going to depend on the marketing that they put behind it, and there's no question about it.
Yeah, it'll depend on features and how user friendly it is, and there's a bunch of stuff. But
so right now, it's nothing.
No, I have not even accepted my free domain registration or transfer offer. So I just was looking at it.
How did you get an invitation?
Wouldn't it be overly impressive?
Mike, how did you get an invitation?
Somebody sent me one, actually. Not Google, though.
He's a friend of mine.
Not Google. Not Rick either, by the way. I don't think Adam. Adam didn't send me one either.
It's interesting.
I can give you the first bug.
What's the first bug?
The first bug is it says it's only available to Americans, but it let me sign up from Canada anyway.
Once we start allowing Canadians in.
So the video where they presented at their developers conference, where they kind of announced it, that made it seem like it was going to be a big deal. But then it was always like, coming soon, coming soon. So you also got the feeling that it was like, hey, when we get back from this conference, we've got to put together our registrar interface to be able to send it out. So it didn't seem like it was the big ramp up, let's have a big launch. But the video was interesting because they almost spent as much time talking about how to upgrade your site, to do testing for the new GTLDs, how to change your stuff around and all the stuff that they had to do validation. And it was just interesting, that real world stuff that a lot of websites may or may not be doing, to be able to recognize the new TLDs in terms of their length, that they weren't on a certain list before, that it wasn't a blacklist, whitelist thing. So there was a lot of interesting information in that video that made it a good perspective.
Well, the video may have been interesting, but the back end that we took a look at was not.
Yeah. So anybody that hasn't received a private invitation to their beta, or an invitation to their private beta, they're not missing much, according to you, Adam and Mike.
Well, not yet. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I don't want to say it's horrible. I just say there's not much there because it's in beta.
Yeah.
And it's not going to kill anybody right now.
And neither of you transferred a domain in or bought a domain name in their system.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But I think it's interesting that all the people that are in this industry that didn't get an invitation, including myself.
Well, I had to apply for one. I don't think they went after anybody in the industry.
Oh, I applied for one. Why? You got one, Mike. What are you talking about? You didn't get one.
I mean, I got one through somebody, but I mean, wouldn't you think they would reach out to some of the bigger domain registrants and say, hey?
No, you're assuming that they have knowledge. Whoever's running it has knowledge of who those people are, and they probably don't.
Oh, they know. Google.
Well, they're not sending them out.
They're reading all your mail every day. All right, along those same lines, next up, Google, along the same lines as Google Domains, another corporate behemoth has thrown their hat into the ring. DomainNameWire.com reported that Amazon.com is now offering domain name registration in conjunction with its web services business. What's it called? Route 53 domain name. Route 53. It's a domain name service that they offer, and now they're acting as a reseller for ICANN accredited registrar Gandhi.com.
Oh boy.
So, Adam, since Amazon is offering every option under the sun for its data, their website hosting, their DNS, Amazon does everything online now. Do you think that this is their first step into domain name registration, just like it was for Google a few years ago?
Do you know what prices they're selling at, by the way?
I don't know, but Andrew Alleman mentioned that Gandhi is selling .coms for $12, so it'll probably be relatively cheap since they're becoming a reseller for Gandhi.
So I've been experiencing some of the new Amazon products. I've tested out Glacier, which is their backup service. I've been testing out some hosting with S3. There are some really good products.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine happens to be one of the head European sales reps for them, and he's put me on a few products. So they do have some good stuff. They obviously know what they're doing. They're the only company that can hold, that I would feel comfortable moving DN Forum to, that I know would be able to keep it up. So if they're going to move their domains in the same fashion they're moving the servers, with that reliability and customer service, I'd feel comfortable putting domains with them. So I would say that they are going to be a real player. They're not just in the hosting game anymore. They're doing a lot more to build the company and build the market, the revenue lines from other areas that are slipping a little bit. So, I mean, I think it's great. I think the more as a domain, and the more people that get into it, the better. As a registrar, probably not so good.
Yeah.
But Amazon's worldwide, whereas even GoDaddy right now would like to be more worldwide than they are, and they're mostly North America and South America. But I mean, Amazon's a big player, so I think they'll do well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the upsells that they're going to make money on. Like, they're going to push their hosting. Hosting is relatively costs them almost nothing to host. So they'll get their upsells in there. They'll get the SSLs in there. They'll get all the cool stuff that they want, and they have the potential to make a lot of money just by selling domain names and not having it go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, it completes their life cycle, and as Amazon has exhibited, they're not interested in being the high margin leader in the marketplace. They want low margins, but they just want to sell a ton of everything.
Well, they're on the right track.
Yeah.
So is everybody looking forward to getting the next domain by drone, delivered by drone?
Drop off the domain name by drone. What were you going to say, Paige?
Definitely.
Well, I mean, just because they're a big company doesn't mean they're going to have a great system. I mean, I think of Yahoo over the years, having registered so many names for so many small businesses, using kind of a convoluted Melbourne IT thing that has like 2 or 3 logins and is really tough to transfer out of. And so when I hear that they're doing it as a reseller for something else, it just seems to add invoices and stages and billing and errors and maybe is a bit different than someone really coming in, even like Uniregistry, and at least saying we're going to do all the work to make a good system, and we're here, we're ready, we want you, here's our attributes, here's our plan to be bigger, and it just maybe they're just coming out saying
something interesting. I'm on the page now and I'm looking at it, and the way they do their hosting is you pay by the amount of traffic you have, which is good for some people, not so good for some people. And I'm looking at the Route 53, or route as you guys like to say, and it goes by queries. So first 1 billion queries per month, 60 cents per million queries. I mean, there's all kinds of different things on here. So with this, you're really going to have to read some of the fine print. Hosted zones are 50 cents per hosted zone per month for the first 25 hosted zones. So it's going to be a little more complicated at first for some people.
It is complicated. I do a lot of backups to Amazon. All my websites back up to Amazon and Rackspace, and I know Amazon runs their own redundancy, but I'm sort of checking. And, if I let it go for a couple of months, it starts to rack up. Like, I should go buy a hard drive and back it up faster.
Sorry, their comp prices are $12 a month. They've got a huge list of TLDs already. Their CAs are $13 a month, which is high. So I found a PDF that lists all their domain prices. I'll put it here in the link, and you can post it at the end of the video if people are interested.
All right, here I'm going to open up that chat so people can actually see it. There's the that's a nice link. Okay, I'm going to have to come back to that one.
But it's interesting. I mean, I think their system is interesting how they do it, and we'll see how it goes.
All right.
I think on the Amazon front, when we talk about the domain registrar space, it's hard to not talk about the registry space. So, it's interesting. I mean, for me at least, it's interesting that they applied as one of the largest applicants for 74 new GTLDs to operate them, including that Amazon. And as we, and they all basically they applied to operate them on a closed basis, meaning they didn't want people to be able to register a .books or .app or .music or whatever they wound up getting. They wanted to, I guess. So we can only assume, offer to their customers and suppliers and vendors and let them use the domains along the way. And of course, as we know, as the GTLD theme rolled out, all of those closed extensions are gone, goodbye, can't do it. So here you got a company that spent, let's just say 75 times $200,000 to apply for GTLDs to operate on a closed basis, including that Amazon, which they can't get, period, and the rest they can't operate on a closed basis. So they offer, they have to offer them for registration. So what are they doing, and where do they go? Right. I mean, because it's not what they signed up for. And I don't have an answer. I find it one of the more interesting stories.
Yeah.
That doesn't really get talked about too much.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it talked about at all. Good point, Mike. All right, there's a new service.
One thing before we go on, I'm just going to give people a little tip. For backup services, cheap backup, unlimited cloud hosting, and I don't get any money for this, check out backblaze.com, B-A-C-K-B-L-A, I'll say it in American for you guys, Z.E, backblaze.com. Cheap, and it's like $5 to $10, unlimited cloud storage, and I put already up about 5 gigs with no issues, and it's fast. It's better than Dropbox, better than all of them, and it's easy to get your files.
Ooh, I don't know. I like my Dropbox. I switched from
Carbonite. But use it as a secondary. Backup. If nothing else. For $5-10, it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, I switched from Carbonite a few years ago to Dropbox. I've been pretty happy with just the stuff that's on my local computer. It works in the background.
Right now, Google Drive is pretty much the cheapest. It's one of the cheapest of the big boys.
Yeah, I don't mind paying a little bit more. I think I pay $150 a year or $120 a year for Dropbox, but it just works, and I know it works. But
One thing, I was going through all my files and deleting all my old files and duplicates and everything, and I happened to find parking stats from 2005, 2006, 2007. I'd love to share those on an upcoming show where you'll see how much these domains are making compared to now.
We should.
Oh, God, the good old days.
I almost had a bird when I saw those numbers.
All right, next up, Estabot announced a private beta launch of their new service called Domain IQ, which will allow for reverse whois lookups, historical whois lookups, and other data about domain names. it seems like it's going to go head-to-head with incumbent DomainTools.com, which I believe everybody on the panel knows, if not pays for to use. And it's probably the one that most domain investors know. Has anyone received an invitation to try the new Domain IQ service?
I have, and I have a funny story, but I just got it and I just tested it before the show because I was talking to Luke. So Tim Chen is the guy that heads up Domain Tools, and Luke Lazan is the guy who wrote this up. Well, Tim, Luke, and I all used to work for the same company back in like 2003, 2002. So I said to Luke, I said, I don't think Tim's going to like this product very much. And, but it's interesting because we all used to work together 10 years ago.
Yeah. So what do you think of Domain IQ, Adam?
I've only played with it a little bit. I mean, it looks like it's very good. I found out some interesting things about some of my domains that I need to fix. So it looks like it's very good. And I'm sure, knowing Luke, based on the other services he's put out, like Estabot, it's going to be a quality product. I know he does really good work. He was one of the first guys that came out with a program to find domain names when they expired. Before, it was called Domain Retriever. It was back in about 99 to 2001. So Luke does quality work. So this is going to be a real competitor for Domain Tools. And after the first few looks at it, it had all the information I was looking for. So it was impressive.
Yeah. Mike, I saw your hand go up that you tried it as well. What did you think?
I guess I'm going to agree with Adam to a good extent. I mean, I think there's a combination of the new product with the major revamp that Domain Tools has gone under in the last month or two or three. I mean, I just don't like, the new Domain Tools, if you will. I just thought the older system was much more user-friendly and just, more intuitive, and you could find the stuff you needed to find quicker. And I just don't like what they've done to the, to Domain Tools. So it's probably a good time, for Luke or, for Luke to come out with this product.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're going to, there's no question about Domain Tools is going to lose some membership revenue. No question about it.
Yeah. Paige and Rick, have you tried it out at all?
I haven't tried it, but I agree that Domain Tools has become less a pleasure to work with and more I'm really going to have to bear down and remember how to go do this, that, and the other. And I'm open to looking at an alternative, which for a long time I'd never have to worry about it because, I mean, the Who is still really interesting, and we're doing this for this upcoming class we're doing. The idea that a name can have a registry expiration date and a registrar expiration date, and it's really not clear which one you're getting when you're looking it up, and people are making big decisions off when that name expires or doesn't expire. And at least the way I thought I figured out the way Domain Tools would report it, I could depend on, and now I'm not sure. So that's what I'll be after, is a real accurate way to see whether that's a pending expiration date or a real expiration date at the different registry level or registrar level. So that'll be something I'll be looking for.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
there's another example.
Hey, Rick, go for it, and we'll come back to you, Mike. Rick.
Okay.
It's just another example of people using a brand, and they improve the brand so well that they lose their customers. And people, it's people just, progress is a wonderful thing until you screw it up. And sometimes, it's good to take a step back and say, gee, maybe what we had was better than what we went to. And for some reason, people have a really hard, difficult time with just saying, okay, I'm going to retreat back to where I was because I was working and everyone was happy. And why did I fix something that wasn't broken? So, and it all ties into the rebranding. People fixing things that aren't broken, and they're paying dearly for it. They spend millions of dollars sometimes to fix things that aren't broken because they don't understand their customers. They don't understand the reaction. They don't understand that there's a guy right next door waiting to grab them when it goes south, and they just keep missing the big picture all the time. They just keep missing the big picture.
Mike, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to give sort of a little shout out to Luke. I mean, I don't know him well at all, but he did send me the info and then the rollout and all of all of the info on his new site, and recognize that I over the years haven't been the biggest fan of Esterbot, but I thought that was really very notable of the guy to say, hey, I know you don't love what I had before, but I have a new thing and it's really cool, and go check it out, which I did, and I think he may have something.
Yeah.
I gotta give him some props for that.
Yeah.
This whole topic just reminded me while I was online to go cancel my Domain Tool subscription, which I did while you guys were talking. So this is not a good promo for Domain Tools.
No. All right.
Ooh.
I've got two more topics that I want to bring up. We're gonna go to porn, because who doesn't like to talk about porn? Mike Berkens just reported that porn.com might be stolen. A UDRP was filed by MXN Limited, the company that paid $9.5 million for porn.com back in 2007. Mike, the domain was at Moniker, and now it's at a Russian registrar. Could this be one of a series of errors by Moniker that they somehow allowed this domain name to be transferred out of their system and stolen by another company person?
I'm not privy to the transaction, so I can't lay blame at anybody's feet. I know Moniker had this Max Lock product, which was sort of a secondary level of verification system. So if you wanted to make a change to a domain or transfer a domain, you'd actually have to get in contact with somebody beyond just getting an auth code. So I have no idea if this particular domain had the Max Lock feature or didn't have it.
Right.
If you didn't have it, then or if they did have it and it didn't work, that's a different issue. So I just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
But
Mike,
it seems pretty clear the name has gotten stolen, which becomes the second most valuable name of all time to have gotten stolen.
How is it possible that domain names get stolen in today's day and age?
All you need is access to an account. If you can get access to, an account that somebody controls through a registrar, then you can get in there and get your auth codes, and you still should get emails and verifications. So
I guess that's the thing. They get into the registrar account and they can maybe push it to another account without somebody noticing. Maybe the registrar doesn't send the verification emails, or maybe they don't have email access to that email account anymore. So either by getting access to their registrar account and or their email address associated with the registrar account, those are two ways that a domain name could be stolen.
So I'll give you an example of what happened to me with DN Forum a while ago, and this is history though, but what happened was somebody called up, complained to Enom that I wanted my password, I had no access to the computer, I lost it. I was at a conference, I was actually at traffic somewhere in Miami. This isn't Rick's fault though. And they pressured the rep on the phone who they couldn't verify, and we said, just reset the password and send it to me. So they got the email password, then they went ahead and used that to get the Rackspace password, and then they used that to wipe out DN Forum. So,
but how did they even, if they reset the password, why didn't it go to your email address?
Well, they gave it to him over the phone because he pressured
so
them.
they socially engineered their way into the system by
what they did was they screamed, and you know how it is in Walmart or any store, the one who screams the loudest gets the most action.
Right.
Now, this is more than 10 years ago, so Enom it's nothing to do with current Enom and nothing to do with current Rackspace, but that's what happens when you have people on the phones that aren't able to handle pressure and succumb to the screaming and stuff. So you're dealing with a lot more than just online security. You're dealing with human nature and people. So there you go.
Yeah. So that's one more way. You can actually call up and speak to a customer service rep and engineer your way into it. And I don't think registrars use fax machines anymore, but that was one way that other people had gained access by faking credentials and faxing things in.
You could also, with a domain name as highly valuable as porn, it wouldn't be that unlikely that you may have some sort of an employee who's easily influenced to help. So, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's just another way as well.
Right.
Maybe a certain chef went back. I don't know.
What were you going to say, Mike?
That's why I've been pretty, surveilled over the years, and way before Monty and I were partners, I used Moniker because, I knew if there was a name that was going to be transferred out of Moniker, I get a call from Monty. It's like, you really want this name to move? It's like, yes or no. and I have that same relationship with my current registrar. So I like that. I don't want to be in a big company where I'm just one of, you know, a gajillion customers. So I, you know,
You mean a number like a prisoner?
yeah, you could look at it that way. I mean, I just want to call. Like,
695.
you really want to transfer this name? Is this name really going to go? And okay, no, yes or no?
Yeah.
So this, guys.
I mean, if you're out,
Hey, Adam, mute your mic for a second, please.
I mean, if you're out there today, you know, they had this report this morning where 1.5 million passwords were supposedly stolen, or 1.5 billion or something, from a company in Russia. And so if you're in the business and you've got more than 10 domains at an account, and as long as you don't mind having to remember a new password, it's a good day to say, hey, it's August 6th, I'm going to change my passwords. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is have a list of what you own. You have to have your own list of what you own. If you're just relying on the registrar's list to tell you what they have, and you don't have something to compare that against of what you think you own, then you're never going to know what's missing just by saying, oh, I'll catch an email, or they didn't send me a push confirmation out. Because as we know, for a long time, not all registrars sent a push notification to the account owner or something like that. And so I think having your own list of what you own, using the different features, you know, to do who is changes on your biggest names, there's stuff you can do, but it's not like at a zoo, someone notices the elephant walking out the door. And a domain registrar, as long as all the systems were done correctly, approval, click, big name, little name, whatever, it's gone, and it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And you might not notice it. There's no.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I'll give a little tip that I use. On Domain Tools, they have a domain monitoring service that allows you to monitor anything changing on a domain name. Expiration date that maybe changes, or the registration, or the DNS, or anything. And I put in my highest value, you know, my business revenue producing domain names, and I monitor all of them, so I get a notice if anything changes on those. Just as a fail-safe, you know, one more way to verify those.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, it's not like this name hasn't been missing for a year and they just noticed it. I mean, they were pretty much on at the fact that the name went up. So, and quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue, again, if, you know, not everybody who listens to, you know, Domain Sherpa is in a position, you know, to do that, or has a portfolio to do that, but to the extent that you have a really valuable domain, you should have it, you know, with somebody on the basis that they know the name isn't transferring unless they talk to you personally and say, yes, the name I'm selling it, sold it, transfer the name. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, Mike Berkens, do you think they're going to get into the whole, the UDRP isn't for crimes, it's only for trademark, and this isn't the proper venue to get it back? And then you get into, is it property, jurisdiction, all that junk? I mean, it seems like that's the path that they'll have to go down, is messing with all international world court jurisdiction, the whole thing.
I mean, I made the point to somebody related to the name. I don't know how many steps off the name they are, but basically, I've noticed that one of the new UDRP providers, which is the Asian Dispute Resolution Center, they've awarded, you know, quite a few names that were allegedly stolen back to the domain owner. So I would have suggested, if, you know, somebody asked me ahead of time, you know, I would have filed it with that UDRP provider instead of WIPO, which is where it got filed, because WIPO over the years has been more reluctant to give the stolen domains back through the UDRP system. With this Asian Resolution Center, whatever it's called, seems to be fairly willing to give the names back. So that's the direction I would have gone if I was going to file UDRP for a stolen name. So it's important that you know, it's not just one provider anymore. There's many providers. There's 5 or 6 providers, and depending on, you know, how things have been ruled in the past, it's important to keep track, especially on a name of that value.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so I look forward to following that on the domains, Mike, because I want to know, is the UDRP, you know, forum going to reject it, saying it's not a uniform dispute resolution issue that needs to be resolved, and we're going to kick it out? Or are they going to actually award it like the Asian Dispute Resolution Center will?
Well, I mean,
Has
again, WIPO's rejected a bunch, and so has NAF. I mean, on occasion they've given them back, but this new Asian provider seems to, understand the fact that they should really give it back.
Yeah.
So maybe it was filed. Maybe it was just a bad choice of forum.
Yeah.
For the filer of the domain.
Yeah. Good point to bring up, Paige.
And
I also say, next time I have a domain stolen, I'm going to call you up at right of the dot, Mike, and ask for your opinion. All right, I had a search engine question that I was just waiting to ask because I know Rick loves these questions. We're going to save it for next week. So if you want to know about search engine rankings and the new domains and the old domains and third-level domains, stick around for next week. All right, we're going to go and wrap up the show. Is there anything that you want to promote? Let's start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mike Berkens, what do you want to promote? Anything?
the Asian resolution. No. No, thank you.
Nothing. All right.
No,
You've had some good sales lately.
thank you.
Continued success.
Buy my stuff.
All right,
Buy my
let's go
stuff.
to the right. Paige Howe, anything you want to promote?
We're doing domain tip sheets, been going for about 3 weeks, and we're going to do a best of. So these are names that are available for hand registration. We give you the idea. We ask for a $10 honor fee if you take the name. And we're going to try to come up with the best 100 names we think from the first 3 weeks that no one took. So if you're a new subscriber, that'll be a bonus list for a subscriber. So that's what we're doing.
So people need to go to domaintipsheet.com and fill out, put in their email address and become a member of the list.
Yep.
And it's free to become a member of the list.
Free to become a member. If you take a name, we ask for an honor fee of
Right.
$10 per name.
And when are you going to run your best of WTF domain names?
Tomorrow, 5 p.m.
All right, so get on the list.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The best of WTF. We have done some work for a couple new TLD registries to help them find their best names. We have not been contacted by WTF right now. So.
All right. Rick Schwartz, anything you want to promote?
Well, I just want to thank Paige for promoting domain tip sheets since I own tipsheet.com. So go Paige. And let's see. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess if you're watching and you book a ticket for traffic today, if you watch the show and you book it by Friday, let's see. How about $100 off per room per night? How's that one?
That sounds good to me.
That's on the fly. That's on the fly.
$100 a room a night.
$100 if you buy a ticket by Friday.
Yep.
They'll give you $100 credit per room per night.
Nice. So they just book their ticket and then book their room, or they don't need to book the room yet?
Book their room. When they check in, they get a $100 credit on each night that they stay on their bill.
Okay, so book it at the current rate, and then they'll get the credit later. Got it.
Exactly. But
All
only
right.
for the people that watch Domain Sherpa, and only until Friday.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Rick. Adam, let's go over to you. Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, so I'm going to let you promote me and surprise you with this. You get to talk about a certain person on the panel helping you negotiate a sale without giving away the domain name, and that it was a little bit helpful.
I know. I haven't actually. So I posted on Twitter that I've been chasing a domain name for 3 years, and the guy was adamant that he wanted, more money than I thought it was worth, and it really wasn't. I wanted it, but I didn't want it that bad. But finally, there just comes the time that you need to bite the bullet. I ping the guy once every year or so, asking him if he, wanted to sell it. And you never know, right? They could run into some money problems. They could, need a few extra bucks and want to sell it cheaper. I was in no rush. Finally, I'm like, I just need to get it. So I called up Adam and I said, hey, Adam, what can you do? Can you help me out with this? And he's like, for you, Mike, it'll cost double. Isn't that what you said? No.
No.
So you contacted the guy and you got it for, let's see, without talking about the monetary numbers, you got it for
30%,
about 30% less than what I could have bought it for. So that was a good day in my book.
And I found him at home.
Right. And you tracked him down, you called him at home. I'm sure he loves that.
Mike?
Yeah.
I changed my mind. Can I promote a $200 a night credit for targeted traffic?
You can. The problem that you get a $200 discount. The problem is you got to share a room with Mike Berkens.
Oh my God, what a deal that is!
The line farms at the right.
I think he's just trying to challenge GGG now for the best party at the traffic convention. That's all.
I don't think I'd do that.
All right, so shout out to Adam for helping me negotiate that. And Adam, you are still doing brokering, aren't you?
Yeah, but only if people. Okay, so I'll buy a name for you if you've got a budget in mind, or I'll sell a name if you've had an offer. I'm not going to do all the cold calling for your domain names, but if you've got an offer, I'll negotiate hopefully a better price than you would.
Right. So I came to you. Can we talk about what we worked out, Adam? Is it fair?
You talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. So I said, hey, Adam, here's the price that I could get, and if you can get it for me for less, we'll split the difference. So I get a discount over what I got, and you got the exact same amount. So, would you say it was fair?
Oh, more than fair. I mean, I would have been happy if you gave me nothing. But
well, and you said don't give me anything, and that was very kind of you. But you're not going to do that for everybody that emails you.
No.
And it wasn't a $10 domain name either, so
yeah, we got it
within
for
reason. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Post them in the comments below, and I'll ask the Sherpas next week. How much of the show do you want us to talk about GTLDs? Back to Rick's question. Post in the comments below. If nobody says anything, we're going to talk about GTLDs 100% of next show.
What? WTF? WTF?
That's the depend on the week, guys.
We're going to talk about how much. I didn't think I was going to be able to get in about how much of a sucker you would have to be to buy some of these new TLDs. I got my prop in. All right.
You got it in.
WTF I like is WTF.com.
Adam Dicker, Michael Berkens, Paige Howe, and Rick Schwartz, thanks for coming on the Domain Sherpa discussion. Again, sharing your insights and expertise, and thanks for continuing to be Domain Sherpas for others. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Suckers for everybody.